Good evening. In the last lecture, we discussed about types of the system, along with some problems we discussed, right? Type 0 system, type 1 system, type 2 system, right? What will be happen if the magnitude will be going to be changes? In some cases, they will give some magnitude 4, 3, 2, like that. For different types of systems, we calculated type 1 system, type 2, and type 3 systems. After that, we are having what we for different signals along with the table by comparing the table. Table is nothing but the final summary of the table. We used for type 1 system what is the KP value, type 0 system what is the KA value, KP value and KB value. KP, KB and KA. That is KP is a position error constant, KB is a velocity error constant, A is an acceleration, K is an acceleration error constant. So we discussed that thing and we done some problems on that also. There is a very simple problems we done. That means simply if you know the table directly we can put that the constant 0 or infinity for that very easy. If it having some constant k at that particular position only, we need to find that what is an kp value and that means an 80 or 20 like that. We done some problem. Okay, coming to next topic is stability analysis. Right? The stability analysis is nothing but we are having two types of stabilities, right? Actually, whatever we are discussing till now, all will be a transfer function based thing only. We know that all these we are whatever we are discussed till now, all will be a transfer function dependency. Depends. And they will all that we will be going to depends upon the transfer function. What is that means is the transfer function analysis. Before going to stability analysis, I will tell two things. There are two types. That is a transfer function analysis and state space analysis. State space analysis. But whatever we are discussing, all these transfer function analysis is applicable only for linear time invariant system. The transfer function analysis is applicable only for linear time invariant system. It means and we know that what is meant by a linear again. What is meant by a linear here? Linear is nothing but it must obey the SPT. It must obey the SPT and principle of homogeneity. Linear system is nothing but we can say that the system is in a linear if it satisfies the principle of superposition theorem and principle of homogeneity, then only we can call it as a linear system. Right? Is it clear or not? That linear system is nothing but it must satisfy the superposition theorem as well as a principle of homogeneity. Then only we can call it as that is a linear system. The next one is time invariant. Time invariant is nothing but the system which does not varies with respect to time. The system which does not varies with respect to time, that particular type of the system we call it as a linear time invariant system. Whenever you want to find the stability of a linear time invariant systems, we can use a transfer function analysis. But the thing in general scenarios, we can say is that all the systems are not a linear systems. They are having a different types of system. That means non-linear systems will be there. For non-linear system, if you want to find the stability of a non-linear system, definitely you need to go with the state space analysis to find the stability of a non-linear systems. We are going to find a state space analysis. That means you have to know that difference between a transfer function and a state space analysis. The second point is that it will be applicable for only single input, single output. SISO system, single input and a single output. The system which is having a single input and a single output system, for that particular type of the system only it will be allows. And next, it will be uses to multiple input, multiple output systems also. The state space analysis we can use for multiple input as well as a multiple output of the system. Multiple input as well as a multiple output of the system. And the third point is that initial conditions. Already in the starting classes, whenever we are explaining the transfer function, whenever we are explaining the transfer function definition, what is the transfer function definition? The Laplace transform of output of the system at initial condition, the Laplace transform of output of the system to the input of the system with initial conditions are 0. Definitely the initial conditions must be 0. Here the initial, but coming to a nonlinear systems or in state space analysis, there is no limitation like that. No initial conditions. No initial conditions. No initial conditions. It may be anything. No initial conditions. That means that we are having these are the stability analysis. Whenever we are going to find an stability of a particular system, first we need to decide that whether that is in an S domain or not. Again we are having a different types. That is anything that is different. This transfer function analysis, this stability analysis, only whatever we are going to discuss here is only for linear time invariant systems only. That means we are going to use, definitely we are going to use transfer function analysis. We are going to use transfer function analysis. The state space analysis we are having, but we are not going to discuss about that non-linear system stability here. Just we are going to discuss about an stability of a linear time invariant system stability. Linear time invariant system. Like that. Coming to this thing, stability analysis. What is meant by stability? What is meant by stability? Stability is nothing but we know that if a person is there, I am able to weight up to 100 kgs. I can. If you are putting a weight of 100 kgs on my head, what will be happen to me? I am going to break down like this. I will become some unstable. I am not going to having that much of capability to take an 100 kgs of weight from one place to another place. Only we are having an up to 50 kgs we can weight. Similarly, you are going on a bike. You are going on a bike with an 100. Okay, you can. If you are going for an 120, 140, you are going to make an unstable. Why? Because in some suddenly, if you are applying a brake, then automatically you are going to face to apply the brake down all the things. To find this stability is nothing but for a bounded input, the output must be bounded. For a bounded input, the output also bounded output. Which means, for example, if I am telling that you have to stay up to these limits only, it must be on these limits only. You need to go up to 100 kilometer, 0 to 100 kilometer. That is, the input is same, whatever you are applied, that will be going to be 0 to in between 0 and 100 kilometers only. That is a bounded output. For example, the system having a bounded input and bounded output, then only the system is stable. We know that the physical example of this particular system is physical systems we are going to take. If the system is, we know this is an cone, what we are going to observe in many places, and I am going to explain these things with an example. Anyone who can use this type of examples. This is an cone we are going to use like this. Now there are three cases. What are the three cases? If I am taking a cone, if I am placing like this, definitely it will be stable. It will not going to be fall. Definitely it will be stable. It will be going to stay like this. That means this is unstable. This condition we call it as a stable condition. Now same cone I taken and I am going to place like this. What will be happen? It will be fall or it will be stall. Marginally stable. Marginally stable. Now the same cone I taken and I am trying to put like this. Are you going to turn that cone like that? Definitely we can say that it will be going to be an unstable. Definitely it will be false. Why? Because very thin on the top side you are having a very weight. Are you going to place like this? Definitely it will be false. It will fall on the ground. That means that in this case this will be going to when it becomes an unstable. This is an unstable. Stable, marginally stable and unstable. How we are going to tell? All these are physical things. All that are physical things. Now I want to know that all will be physical things, and we can by seeing that thing we can say that this is unstable, this is an marginal stable, this is an unstable. By seeing our eyes, for example, a small kid, he is we don't know, we cannot expect whether he is going to be a false or whether he is going to be a run properly or not. We cannot accept that he will become a non-linear system. But in this case, if you are taking any physical things, we can estimate whether it is unstable or an unstable or a marginal stable. Now, one more example I am going to take. For example, if you are running with a motor and generator are there. Right, whenever we are doing some experiment, we are telling that you can reach up to 10 amperes, 16 amperes, you can apply up to the load. Okay, I am applying like that. Then what will happen? Suddenly the speed will be increases or speed will be reduces. Why? Because you are continuously changing the load. Then we need to tell that if the load is above 10 amperes, the system will become marginally stable. If the load is above 16 amperes, then definitely the system will be going to be becomes unstable. That thing we need to find out by using a transfer function analysis. Here also, this is a physical system. We can say very easily. If I am taking a duster, if I am taking a duster and I am placing like this, then we can say that this is unstable. Why? Because it will not going to be false. If I am taking try to stand like this, in some cases what will be happening? See, it will be going to be falling like this. That will become an unstable. So these are the physical systems we can say whether it is unstable or unstable, right? I am trying. In some cases, it may be possible to stand like this. Now it is a marginally stable. Definitely, we cannot say that this is a stable system. After some time, also it is vibrating. After some times, also, if I am moving to and fro, it will be going to move. Only duration of some period only it will be going to be a marginally stable. That you need to tell at what time to what time it is unstable and what time to what time it is marginally stable. At what time, after what time it will become completely unstable, we have to know. Here this is a physical diagram. Now for stability analysis, here we are having different methods we are having. Different methods we are having to find stability of different systems, right? First, the thing is you have to understand which type of system we are going to explain here. Definitely, we are going to explain about the stability of a transfer function analysis only. Transfer function analysis, the systems which we are transfer function. Just keep it in mind. If I am telling about a transfer function, means that is a compulsory. It is a linear time invariant system. If you are using a transfer function is nothing but the S domain or not. You know the transfer function is must be in a S domain. Transfer function is in S domain or not. You know that transfer function is in S domain only. That means the transfer function definition we are going to get C of S by R of S which is equal to S into S plus 1. What is this? Is it transfer function or not? S divided by S plus 1. From where we are getting the transfer function? From where we are going to get the transfer function? This transfer function is, from where we are getting the transfer function is nothing but, this transfer function we are getting from physical existing system. Physical existing system. This term, not simply we are getting that thing. You are having a motor, he will all do that whenever he is generating, whenever he is going to manufacturing, all the data he will take. What is the data he takes? He will consider what is the current after the voltage. sorry, current means I amperes. How many amperes? Voltage. After that, what he is going to take? What is the armature current? After that, he will take a speed, right? All these data he will take, and he will mention on the nameplate details. The rated speed is 1500 RPM. The armature current or field current. Field current will give 0.5 amperes. This is only 4 amperes. Voltage is equal to up to 220 volts. Like this, he mentioned that all the data. By using that all these data, we are derived a physical existing. From these physical existing system, we are getting the transfer function. Whenever we are doing by using the transfer function, now the transfer function in our problems in our control system, whatever in our syllabus we are having, that transfer function from where we are getting that, it will not going to be disclosed to anyone. Just they will use the transfer function to us, and they are going to insist us to find that transfer function, whether this transfer function is stable or not. This transfer function is stable or not. Just you will ask. From where you are getting this transfer function? From the physical existing system, whatever it may be. Either it may be a generator motor set, or a transformer, or a transformer, or it may be a chemical industry, or it may be a process industry. From anywhere it will be. These are all parameters they are considered, and finally they give a transfer function to us, and then they will asking us whether the system is unstable or not. This is an S domain. Once what I mean to tell here, if it is an S domain, means compulsory it is a transfer function. If it is an S domain, means definitely it is a transfer function analysis. The transfer function analysis is useful only for linear time invariant system. For single input, single output system, the initial conditions must be G. The initial conditions must be G. If the initial conditions varies, we are not going to use this stability analysis. We cannot find for that particular type of system. Then it will become a linear, non-linear systems. Then definitely we will go with some Lyapunov stability, Kalman's filter. There are for different models are there to find the stability of a non-linear system. Here stability analysis, first we have to know that what are the different the stability analysis. Is better to write the stability analysis in S domain. Now it is very clear. In S domain is nothing but it is equal to a transfer function. Transfer function is only applicable for linear time inverse. What are the different types? We are having again, we are having an S domain and frequency domain. Again, in this only S domain and frequency domain. Here we are having different methods to find the transfer function. That means to find the stability of the system. First one is in S domain we are having an RH criteria, and next one is we are having a root locus method. And next, coming to a frequency domain, we are having a frequency domain. What we are having? Bode plot. First one is a Bode plot. The next one we are having a polar plot. The next one we are having a Nyquist plot. Next one we are having a Nyquist plot. These are the mainly we are going to discuss here in an stability analysis. How we are going to find out the stability analysis in the three main criteria. First, when it is stable. If you are telling it is unstable, continuously is it going to be unstable? That thing you need to tell. If it is an unstable, when the system will be going to be unstable, that thing also you need to tell. If you are saying this is an unstable system, you need to tell when it is unstable, for which value of speed the motor will become unstable, or for which value of current the motor will become unstable. Actually, we need to tell. Marginally stable, when it is marginally stable. If the value of current is from 5 amperes to 8 amperes, if it is varying from 5 to 8, then we can say that is a marginally stable. With the numericals you need to tell, right? Here we are having different methods to find the stability of stability analysis. The first one we are having an RH criteria. RH criteria is nothing but Raoult-Hurwitz criteria. Raoult-Hurwitz criteria. Very simple criteria. According to his analysis, he told that the system is stable or unstable. According to his opinion, he told. After that, again, why we are going to improving continuously? Some scientists are giving something to us. After some time, we are getting more and more experiments. After that, once Rutherford's criteria having some drawbacks, to overcome the Rutherford's criteria, again, Root Locus proposed one method to find stability. Rutherford's criteria also we can use, but it is having some limitations. To overcome the limitations, we need to go for a root locus. How we are going to find the stability of the system by using a root locus? Again, we are having a frequency domain. Frequency domain is nothing but all the transfer function we are having an S into S plus 1. The transfer function is like this. Then what we are going to take? We are just going to take in the place of S, we are going to place S is equal to J omega. What will be happen? S is equal to J omega. We know that omega is equal to 2 pi m. So that it will becomes a frequency domain. So that it will becomes a frequency domain. S is equal to J omega. So we are going to get S is equal to omega equal to 2 pi m. Again, it will becomes a frequency domain. In frequency domain, what we need to find out by using this dot plot and polar plot, we need to find out all these will become simply a frequency domain. How we are going to plot dot plot, right? You need to know that what is a magnitude, phase angle, right? You have to know that. So that means the specifications of frequency domain specification. What is a cutoff frequency? What is a resonant frequency? Like what is a cutoff frequency? What is meant by dot plot? What is a polar plot? What is a Nyquist plot? All will we are going to discuss with respect to F. F is nothing but F frequency. All these two, Rutherford's criteria and root locus, we are going to explain with respect to S domain. RH first we have to discuss about an RH criteria. After that we will go with an root locus. RH criteria is nothing but Routh-Hurwitz criteria. Routh-Hurwitz criteria, how we are going to find that Routh-Hurwitz criteria is nothing but by using a characteristic equation. That characteristic equation we call it as 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. Whether if we given a transfer function to you, then you need to find out that 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. Then this complete equation will become in terms of s power n like this, s power n minus 1 plus s power n minus 2 plus s for a constant a, which is equal to 0. That means in the name itself, it is an array. Array means one column and element. Array is nothing but one matrix type we are going to get. By using that matrix, if there is no sign changes in the first column, then we can say that whether it is a stable or non-stable system. Before going to that also, in general, if we are having a transfer function, before all we are not using all these things. Just I am having a transfer function like this. 1 by s plus a. What are the poles? What is the pole? S is equal to minus. Now you take this is an S plane. This is an S plane. Where it will be located? Pole is represented with an minus. Okay. Now you are having a left hand side and right hand side. Now how many poles are there? Only one pole. That pole also located at the left half of S plane. Left half of S plane. Now in general manner, we can tell that if the number of poles at that means at the number of poles, if there is no pole on the right hand side, then the system is unstable. Or we can say that in another way, if all the poles are at the left half of S plane, left half of S plane, then we can say that the system is stable. Now we tell that all the poles are on the left half of S plane. For example, I am taking like this. All the poles are left half of S plane, and there is no poles on the right half of S plane. So that this system we can call it as a stable system. Okay. Now only you are having two poles on the imaginary axis. There are two poles on the imaginary axis, and the remaining poles are on the left half of S plane. then that particular system we call it as a marginally stable. Then that particular system we call it as a marginally stable. Now in this case, only one pole on the left half of S plane, sorry, only one pole on the right half of S plane, then the system will become completely unstable. Even if you are having an n number of poles, n minus one number of poles in the left half of S plane, only one pole is at the right half of S plane, then the system compulsory will become an unstable system. Right? So this is in general we can say that the simple thing is, if all the poles are on the left half of S plane, then definitely it is stable. If only one pole is on the imaginary axis, that is a marginally stable. If two poles are on the right half of S plane, then it will become an unstable system. Now, how we are going to tell why we cannot use this thing? For example, we can find the roots if it is like this very easily. For example, you are having a fifth order system or eighth order system. For that particular system, we can find that roots poles very easily. It is very difficult. It becomes a very laborious process. So that we are not going to use this type of method. In general, we are having if the poles are on the left hand side, you can say it's stable, otherwise unstable. Right? But it will become difficult to find that all the poles and zeros. So that we are not going to use. So okay, in the next lecture we will go with the first method of stability analysis, that is a Routh-Hurwitz criteria. Right, thank you.